Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Safe Zone podcast. My name is Brittney, and I'm a mental health guidance specialist. This podcast is meant to be a space for you to learn some stuff, so gain some tools in your toolkit. I always say, school did not teach us everything we needed to know. It taught us a lot about maths and English, but not a lot about ourselves, about relationships, emotions, all those important things as well. So we're going to try to fill that gap. Hopefully, you learn something about yourself, about other people, about life, or something else within these podcast episodes. And hopefully, you leave here with something that helps you along your journey. Everybody has a different journey, although we're not that different after all. So, hopefully, whatever you learn, even if it's just you walk away with, it helps you along your journey. So, this episode is on good discomfort. Why did I choose this episode as our first episode? It's still close to the beginning of the year, so hopefully moving forward from this episode, you are able to embrace discomfort and not run away from it. And hopefully you also learn that we always think healthy choices feel good and we feel like however, a lot of healthy choices make us feel very uncomfortable. And they bring about a lot of uncomfortable emotions, uncomfortable situations, etc. So, within this podcast, this episode today, we are going to cover three main things. I'm going to help you decipher what is good discomfort versus bad discomfort. How do we figure that out? I'm also going to list about 12 different versions of healthy choices that feel uncomfortable or healthy choices that bring about discomfort. Of course, it's not an exhaustive list, but hopefully some of the points resonate with you, and if I left out any, feel free to add to any comments or drop me a message, etc. And at the end, I'm going to offer 3 ways to help you all move through or sit in discomfort rather than run away. Yeah? So, I have my little notes here. Okay, so we're going to start with, it's my first episode, so I'll figure it out, so be a little patient with me. It's been a long time since I've been in front of a camera or on a mic. It's been years, so bear with me. To reiterate, why I choose this episode, because I do think that there's like a false expectation that healthy and good choices always feel good, and that's really not the truth. So sometimes when we feel discomfort, we think we're doing something wrong. However, it might be something really good. And also, I do think it's very important for anybody that wants to live and grow and thrive in this world to be able to move through and sit in discomfort. 3 ways that you can decipher what is good discomfort and what is bad discomfort. So, good discomfort brings benefits. There's some type of benefit. You're going to come out a better version of yourself. Your life experience, your relationship, your situation is going to get better. So when you're in it or you're about to experience it, check and ask yourself, am I going to grow? Is this beneficial for me? If the answer is no, run for the hills. If your discomfort that you're feeling is causing any real harm to yourself, to anybody else around you, to your own mental health, to your own well-being, etc., again, if it is, that is not good discomfort, that is bad discomfort, red flag, run the other direction. And there's like something related to like a timeline. If the discomfort is a temporary experience for more of a lasting, permanent end goal, and there's a shorter timeline to that discomfort, then that's good discomfort. If discomfort just continues on and there's no end in sight, there's no reward at the end that kind of makes it worth it, then again, that is not good discomfort. Okay. What are some healthy things that require discomfort? I'm going to go through these 12 points, share my little 2 cents on it, and move through as we move, right? Okay, so firstly, boundaries. Healthy boundaries. Anybody trying to set healthy boundaries, answer me this. Do you all feel fantastic, great, and empowered and wonderful when you're setting those boundaries? The empowerment feeling comes beyond it. You do experience it at some point. But when you're in the thick of setting a boundary, you're either in the thick of saying no to something, to decreasing the amount of access that somebody or something has to you, and because you always think that boundaries are saying no, but healthy boundaries are also saying yes. So for those that struggle with asking for help, struggle with allowing people to support them, etc. When you actually have to say yes to that help, or you actually have to reach out, do you feel fantastic? I don't think so. So boundaries are very good discomfort. However, it's uncomfortable. So the experience of setting the boundary, actually communicating the boundary. Reality is you don't just say a boundary once and everybody agrees with it most times. So the many times that you have to say the boundary, sitting with that boundary and allowing the other person to have a reaction, because oftentimes we are like upset that the person had this reaction to us setting a boundary, and they're kind of human and they're kind of allowed to, and not many people are able to respond to rejection in a healthy way. So when you set that boundary, you have to deal with the discomfort of knowing that somebody may not be 100% with you, and what are they thinking, what are they feeling, etc., etc. And also, if it's a boundary that you realize you have to maintain, like you have to maintain this distance from this person, it's not a communicate it and reduce it. Like, let's say you're a genuine, open, caring person, but you realize you are interacting with an unsafe person, a person that doesn't respect you, doesn't respect your values, has proven time and time again to cause some type of disruption to your peace, your mental health, your space. And you have to hold that boundary, even though you know it's something good that you're doing, you are going to feel very uncomfortable. So that's boundaries. Along with boundaries, pair the second one, which is assertiveness. Being assertive does not always feel good. You build resilience and you become very desensitized to it. And eventually you start to realize assertiveness is good. Me being able to stand up for myself in a respectful manner and see my needs and wants equally valuable as the other person's needs and wants. And being assertive, standing up for yourself, as I said, not in a disrespectful manner, but a manner that respects yourself as well as other people. When you are assertive, it is uncomfortable. Far more if you're someone that struggles with being submissive or too passive, not speaking up, saying yes to things that you don't want to do, ignoring your needs and wants, and prioritizing what people want of you. When you decide to be assertive, firstly, chances are you're going to think you're aggressive. So this is why it's very important to have an outsider perspective to be like, no, you weren't aggressive, you were actually assertive. And of course, if you are someone that is accustomed to being aggressive, dialing it down and being assertive is also very uncomfortable. So again, assertiveness is a good discomfort. Also, people don't respond well when you don't act the way that they expect you to act. So from the moment a woman is assertive and not the expected submissive, then you get you're such a bitch, you're acting like a man, and whatever. We all know the comments, right? So again, assertiveness is something that is good and it brings about discomfort, but that is good discomfort. Physical health. Anybody that's in gym, anybody that's in sports, anybody that even does any form of physical activity, swimming, walking, running, weightlifting, yoga, stretching, anything like that, good discomfort, but it's uncomfortable. Doesn't feel good to have your muscles burning. Doesn't feel good to be holding your balance and trying to focus, or more so if you're trying a physical activity out of your comfort zone, or if you're trying physical activity for the first time after a while. Physical activity is uncomfortable, but it is so necessary, and there are a plethora of benefits behind physical activity. Physical activity is so much more a mental health thing than a physical health thing. To me, physical health benefits just come as a proxy. The week that you tick that physical activity box, you get your gym sessions in, you get your walks in, you get your yogas in, whatever it is your physical activity, you are going to be a much more tolerant person, a lot less reactive. And then the week that you don't, just wait and see. So again, physical activity is something that is a good discomfort. Good discomfort, I'll say it again, good discomfort. It doesn't last long. There's lots of benefits, and you're not causing real harm. You know what I mean? Growth in general, just growth in general in life. Any form of growth, whether it is growth in a particular skill, growth in your education, growth in life shifts, milestones, trying new things, moving, whatever it is, being in an uncomfortable environment, being out of your comfort zone. Growth comes with discomfort. Again, this is why I think that this is such an important thing to talk about, because if you are resilient against growth and you do not embrace it, then you're probably going to stay the same person. You're still going to have discomfort because staying the same person, guarantee, repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, insanity. So again, it's kind of like a choose your heart. You choose the heart of growth or you choose the heart of stagnancy. Either way. Healthy relationships. Healthy relationships bring uncomfortable conversations and we cannot run away from them. It's part of it. Healthy relationships, especially long-lasting relationships, you're not going to be connected to a person. And by healthy relationships, I don't just mean romantic relationships. I also mean friendships, parent to child, sibling to sibling, friend to friend, co-worker to co-worker. It doesn't matter the dynamic. Healthy relationships bring uncomfortable moments, and when you run from them, then we start to shift more to a dysfunctional approach to relationships. So healthy relationships are not absent of conflict. Healthy relationship is not absent of uncomfortable conversations. We are just willing to sit in it, sit with it, move through it, right? So healthy relationships bring about discomfort. Authenticity. Being your authentic self. It is almost choosing to be authentic. You are guaranteed to disappoint somebody. You cannot be authentically you, your unique self, without disappointing somebody that had a vision as to what they expected of you or what they think your choices should have been. Impossible. Your choice to be unique and authentic, most times you're going to 100% get pushback. If it's pushback from people you don't really care about, whatever. You see the pushback that comes from the people that you really want approval, that's the discomfort, that's uncomfortable. The reality is, if you want their approval, then you must be willing to live a life similar to them and make similar choices. The moment you decide not to, you're going to make them uncomfortable, they're not going to be happy, and you now have to sit with the discomfort of rejection, disapproval, and whatever else may come. So again, the moment you decide to be authentic, unique to you, do things your own unique way, you are going to experience discomfort, and that's okay. Self-awareness. If you think self-awareness is a good journey, then you're not doing self-awareness the right way. Self-awareness. Learning about your strengths as well as your weaknesses. It's not an easy journey. Being willing to hear things about yourself that you may not like. Being willing to ask people around you, what is a strength and a weakness of mine? Not all the answers behind the weakness are going to be something surface level. It might be something really deep that you might not want to hear, that you might reject, etc. The process of learning about yourself isn't always the most enjoyable journey, but it's always rewarding. Healing, the journey of healing. Healing means you have to recount some traumatic experiences, and trauma varies. Some people have very deep trauma, and some people's an embarrassing moment is also termed trauma. So any form of healing, whether you do it on a personal level with yourself, so healing has the fantastic moments of feeling empowered and achieving all our goals, but healing also has the lying down on the floor on a Sunday, on your bathroom floor, crying out your eyes and sobbing. That's also part of healing. Healing with a professional. Coming into a therapy session is never, oh yes, I'm so excited, I just can't hide it. Sometimes, yes, if you're comfortable with your therapist, if you're comfortable with your mental health person, and you build that resilience, but it's an uncomfortable, vulnerable space that you never know what's going to come up. So even healing with a professional can be a discomfort. And as I said, any form of like mental health service in general, oftentimes, because if you sit with your thoughts long enough, sometimes it brings about discomfort. When you recount certain things, you remember certain things, you realize how certain things in your past linked to, or you come to that realization, just whatever that realization is as to your experience, what you had, what you didn't have, people that didn't show up for you, etc., etc. That's its own journey on its own. Stillness and silence. Healthy choices that feel uncomfortable. Sitting with yourself, resisting the urge to overstimulate yourself in a world that teaches us to stimulate ourselves 24/7 in many ways. When you decide to have those pockets of stillness and silence and you block out the distractions and you actually just sit with these thoughts, it's very uncomfortable. For those that don't, I guarantee you probably have some sleep issues. Because if the only time your brain gets your undivided attention is when you lie down in your bed, of course everything is going to pop up. Creating more pockets of stillness and silence throughout your day or throughout your week will help that a lot. Other things as well, but that's a conversation on its own regarding helping sleep. That balance between solitude and socializing. So introverts, you cannot isolate all the time. Extroverts, you cannot socialize all the time. There is importance and there is healing that happens in solitude and there is healing that happens in community. And you need that balance. So again, some people it's a struggle to socialize. And by socialize, I don't even mean a big party or anything. Just those one-on-one conversations, talking to someone, connecting with somebody is uncomfortable for some people. And also actually just saying no to the invitation and spending time with yourself is also uncomfortable for some people. Yeah? Stepping out your comfort zone and trying new things. If you are someone that struggles with negative self-talk, trying new things is going to be very trying. Because when you go to try new things, especially if it's in like a group or a setting, that voice goes, oh, you're looking so stupid. People think you're so stupid. You're looking like a fool, blah, 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 whatever, the whole shebang. So trying new things, stepping out your comfort zone is always uncomfortable, but it's a good discomfort. And even if you try something new and you realize, this is not for me, you did not waste your time. That was not wasted time. That was valuable information. Finding out what you like and what works for you and what you don't like and what doesn't work for you are both equally valuable energy spent. Last one of these healthy things that require discomfort, vulnerability. No, you cannot walk through this world with your heart and mind guarded with barbed wire and tall walls and electric fences, because we are humans and we need connection and we thrive with connection. So being vulnerable is very uncomfortable. Important. Being vulnerable with healthy people and in safe spaces. Being vulnerable in unsafe spaces with unhealthy people, so dangerous. Does more damage than any good. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so we are closing off this episode now with 3 ways to support yourself through discomfort, because we are aiming to be able to sit in it and build our resilience. 3 things. Firstly, your self-talk. Be mindful of that narration that happens in your mind. What do you think about? How do your thoughts go and how do you speak to yourself when you are in discomfort? When you make that decision to set that boundary, are you talking to yourself and telling you all the reasons why you're a horrible person? Or are you stopping, showing compassion for yourself? Hey, I see you feeling uncomfortable. Yeah, this is what boundaries are, but I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for doing that. Self-talk rooted in compassion and kindness are helpful. Self-talk rooted in criticism and harsh judgment, it will lead you off a cliff. Lead you off a cliff. Promise you. What we hear over and over shapes our thoughts, our perspectives, etc. What we hear, what people tell us all the time, we may not believe that I am stupid the first time I hear it. But if I hear that 30 to 40 times over and over and over, at some point I'm going to believe it. So this is the importance of making sure you distance yourself from emotionally abusive relationships, And also, you use tools like intentional self-care and positive affirmations. What your brain hears over and over is what it learns and is what it thinks as truth. Your brain doesn't have that judgment between truth and false. All it believes is what it hears over and over and over. So be mindful of that self-talk during your discomfort. So as you mentioned, self-talk. Next, we have quick self-regulation tactics, aka how do I bring myself down? When something takes me from 0 to 100, how do I calm my mind or calm my body? So I have 3 things to offer you. Ice. It's really hard to have an anxiety attack with ice in your hands. Take it from me, I used to have anxiety attacks almost every night when I was a teenager. And I can safely say I haven't had anxiety attack for years. I felt one coming on as recent as like a year or 2 ago. But based on one, self-awareness, learning about my triggers, learning about my reactions, learning about the symptoms, etc., as well as learning these particular tactics, I have been able to bring myself down. So when I felt one coming on recently, I tried a few things, but nothing quite works like ice. Nothing brings me back to ground, back into the present moment like ice. So ice in your hands, ice in your mouth, a cool water splash on your face, a cool water bath, anything with very cold temperature kind of snaps the body back into the present moment, and then the mind follows. A physiological sigh, one of the quickest breathing techniques to bring you down, regulate you, get you back to a place of safety. A physiological sigh is a deep inhale followed by a last sip of air for your inhale, so 2 inhales and a long exhale, right? So it's going to be So 2 long inhales through your nose, so not 2, 1 long inhale through your nose. So make sure when you're inhaling, you're not breathing into your chest. Breathing into your chest actually makes you feel more anxious. So make sure you're inflating your belly nice and big. So nice big inhale through your nose. 1 more sip, even if it's tiny. And then a long exhale through your mouth. And lastly, bilateral stimulation, which is just stimulating both sides of your body. So bilateral stimulation can be butterfly chest taps. So it can also be hands on your laps, 1 lap, the other lap, 1 lap, the other lap. It can also be your feet tapping on the floor, 1 foot, next foot, 1 foot, next foot. Or it can be you taking your gaze all the way over to the left, all the way over to the right, or doing any form of bilateral stimulation with your hands. So drawing with your hands, doing 2 things with your hands, etc. Right? So bilateral stimulation. So 3 very quick self-regulation tactics that you can use in that moment of a lot of discomfort and you need to bring yourself down. So self-talk, quick self-regulation, as well as an activity, a mindful activity, something that takes you into your present moment. Now, the first 2 are more reactive, whilst the last one is also a reactive, but it's also a preemptive approach, right? So, physical activities, for example, are one of the best ways that you can bring your mind into the present moment. Try to overthink in a plank now. You might be able to overthink for the first 10-15 seconds. By the time our clock keeps ticking, all you can think about is or weightlifting, or running, or swimming. Any activity that brings you fully into the present moment. Also, some strategy games as well that you have to focus on and be mindful as to what you're doing. Strategy games on your phone or on a device or a PS or whatever. So any particular mindful game that you can play, a mindful task, a mindful activity. Something that you know brings your attention fully into the moment. And as I said, this is a preemptive approach, meaning if you do these beforehand or within your consistent routine, you are going to widen that window of tolerance. Your window of tolerance is a fancy way of seeing your tolerance for life's triggers. Many people have a narrow one, many people have a wide one. People with a narrow one, it doesn't take much to trip them off or get them into an anxiety attack, for example. And it doesn't take much to get them sad, depressed, etc. Right? So into a free state, or that kind of just can't really think, just isolating, etc. So the more mindful activities, the more things you do that actually bring your attention into the moment. So if you go for a run, and you might not get full silence in your brain the entire time. But if you get a couple seconds here, a couple seconds here, a couple seconds here, those couple seconds widen your window of tolerance a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And when you experience these levels of discomfort, you may not really need to reach for a coping mechanism or need to get out of it. You may actually be able to sit with that discomfort without feeling too reactive, right? So those are 3 ways to support yourself during discomfort: intentional self-talk, quick self-regulation tactics, and focus games, tasks, or physical or activities, right? So that last point is kind of a hint regarding our next episode. So see if you figure that out. Okay, so now I'm going to insert an image with some recommended journal prompts, home assignments. At the end of all these episodes, I'm going to attach some form of recommended things that you all can do on the video own journey. So maybe there are going to be a couple journal prompts, maybe there are going to be certain activities or certain home assignments. Again, it's not school, there's no requirement to do it. However, I would say there are lots and lots of benefits in these activities, right? So you're going to see that now. We are going to end off now with just a list of 3 things that you're grateful for. Just stop for a second. What are 3 things that you're grateful for? 3 things for me. I'm grateful for filming. I am grateful for finding a charger for my camera. Big up the people that helped me, or who you all are. And I am grateful for electricity. Because the Lord knows maybe electricity could have gone today in this office and it didn't. So I'm very grateful for that. Yeah. And to end off, for anyone that would like a little short mini meditation, a little short mindful moment, I'm going to guide you through that now before we close off. If you are busy, if you are driving, if you are in a setting that you cannot do this, feel free to come back to this another time. Wherever you are, stop, bring your attention into your body. Notice if your shoulders are tense, allow them to drop down. Are you clenching your jaw? Allow your bottom jaw to be parted from your top jaw. Relax those eyebrows. Look around wherever you are and find 3 things that are blue. Find 2 things that are white. And find 1 thing that is black. Take a nice big inhale through your nose into your belly. Push that palms away from you. And exhale through your nose. Belly button comes into spine. 3 more like that. Nice inhale through your nose, big belly. Exhale through your nose, belly button to spine. And last one, nice big belly inhale. As long of an exhale as you can get. That's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening on or looking on. These episodes are posted on Spotify as well as YouTube. Spotify is going to have the audio. YouTube is going to have video and audio. I look forward to seeing you all here soon again. Give me the feedback. Let me know what you like. Let me know what pointers you all have. It has been very lovely getting behind this camera and making this happen. This has been something that clients, friends, people around me have asked over and over and over for this podcast. So I'm so happy to give you all what you all have requested. Feel free to drop me any recommendations for episodes, and I will see you all soon.